All right, thanks, guys. Once again, we are currently 4-0 in our last four NBA package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 6-2 in our last 8 crowd pleaser teaser picks on that site as well. Link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/BrockPage, where we do daily premium sports picks for just $1.99. Well, beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages there. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some NBA action here for this Saturday. We're going to start off with the Bucks taking on the Magic, 5 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Orlando. The Bucks are -9 total at 220. Now we saw a half a point move toward Milwaukee and movement upward on the total. The Bucks open 8.5 up to -9. Total open 218.5 up to 220. 62% are leaning Bucks, 61% on the over. Right now the Magic are plus 350 on the money line. Orlando, losers of 8 out of their last 10. They also went just 20% against the spread in those 10 games. They rank at the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. They're just 22-30 on the year, 8 games under 500, and they're just 9-16 against the spread on their home court. Now, a couple more things to add about this Orlando team. They rank dead last in the association in home scoring on average per game. They're also dead last in defending the 3-ball at home as well. Offensively, they're averaging just 102 points per contest. Now, Milwaukee, on the other side, winners of 9 out of their last 10. They're basically leading the NBA in everything. Record standings, statistics, data. Giannis Antetokounmpo, 30 points a game, 13 rebounds, 6 assists. Chris Middleton, 20 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Eric Bledsoe, 15 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the Bucks. Milwaukee's 20-4 away from home. They're averaging 120 points per contest. And keep in mind, George Hill is listed as out for today's contest. Milwaukee 2-0 to the under in their last 2. 5-3 to the under in their last 8. Orlando, no surprise here, 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. They're also 18-7 to the under on their home court. I'm going to lean toward the road chalk in this one. Give me Milwaukee -9 and the under 220 in that game. Next matchup, Knicks taking on the Pistons, 7 o'clock Detroit. The Knicks are -1 total, 213.5. We saw a 1-point move upward on the total. Pretty good two-way action with regard to the spread. Not a whole lot of movement there. The Knicks open and remain -1. Total open 212.5 up to 213 and a hook. 51% are leaning Detroit. 63% shaded toward the over. Right now the Pistons are plus 103 on the money line. Detroit just 2-7 straight up in their last 9. They've also gone 11-17 on their home court. They're currently in 11th place in the Eastern Conference at just 19-35 overall for the year. Now the Pistons rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. They're just 3-6 against the spread in their last 9. They also rank in the bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in home offensive rebounding. Rose and Morris are listed as questionable for tonight's action. Knicks on the other side, believe it or not, winners of their last 3 straight. They also covered 80% of their games in their last 10. They rank in the top 10 in offensive rebounding on average per game. They're also in the top 5 in offensive rebounding on the road. Now, 3 out of New York's last 4 games did get over the number. Detroit 20-8 to the over on their home court. I'm going to lean Knicks -1 and the over 213.5 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, I'm going to slide in one more game. It is going to be Dallas taking on Charlotte, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in the Queen City. Dallas is -4 on the road, total at 213 and a hook. We saw a half a point move toward Dallas and movement downward on the total. The Mavs open 3.5 up to -4. Total open 215 down to 213 and a hook. 61% are leaning Dallas, 65% shaded toward the over. And right now, Charlotte's plus $1.60 on the money line. Now, if you like Charlotte in this matchup here, you've got some big, brave balls because they have been terrible. Losers of 9 out of their last 10. They've also failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 8. They rank in the bottom 3 in scoring on average per game, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. They're currently in 12th place in the Eastern Conference at just 16-35 overall for the year. Charlotte, bottom 10 in offensive scoring, bottom 3 in defensive field goal percentage as well. They're averaging just 103 points per game. Dallas on the other side, pretty good away from home, 17-8 on the road this year, 18-6 against the spread in those matchups. They're currently the 7th seed in the West at 31-21 overall for the year, and they're 7.5 games ahead of the 9th seed, so pretty comfortable there in that 7th spot. They are 5 games ahead of the 8th seed as well in Memphis. Got to keep in mind, I know you guys will remind me, Luka Doncic, he is out indefinitely still, but Kristaps Porzingis, he's averaging 18 points a game, nearly double-digit rebounds and 2 blocks. Tim Hardaway, 14 points a game, 3 boards for him. And Seth Curry, 11 points a game for this Mavs team. The Mavs rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. They're averaging 116 points per game. Now, 3 out of Dallas's last 3 games did get over the number. 5-1 to the over in their last 6 as well. Charlotte on the other side, 3-1 to the over in their last 4. I'm going to lean Mavericks -4 and the over 213.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, now I'm going to go ahead and take a quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines of personal leans out for Saturday's NBA action. Happy Saturday to you. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. Now before we go ahead and move on, got to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage. Believe it or not, we had our first losing day in a while, and it wasn't catastrophic. We went 2-3 in our 5 premium picks. Certainly not what we're looking to do, and definitely shocking to a lot of the patrons on that site. They're definitely not used to losing, especially as of late, because we've been red hot. And even though we went 2-3 yesterday, we did improve our record to 4-0 in our last 4 NBA package picks on that site. We're also 6-2 in our last 8 crowd pleaser teasers. Now you might be, wondering why would I buy a package from Brock when he gives me all the picks for free? And yeah, you're exactly right. I give you all the picks for free. And the big problem with that is if you were going to bet every single game on the board side and total with your hard-earned money, you are guaranteeing yourself failure, bankruptcy. You're going to go broke. You can't bet every single game on the board. The math becomes aggressively against you. So what I do on Patreon, I make life a lot easier for you. I just break it down to 3 to 4 premium sports picks per day, premium high percentage picks, games that I personally have action on. I bet them on my phone on my sports betting app. And I'll tell you this much, my current Patreon record is a whole lot better than it is here on YouTube, handicapping every single game, throwing darts with my eyes closed. And if you want to check out my current record, you can do that for free right now. It's right on the homepage. Click the link in the description section below, patreon.com/BrockPage. All right, let's go ahead and dive into some more, free lines and personal leans right here on YouTube after I just condemned my free picks. Let's go ahead and get back into them. And we are going to take a look at the Pelicans taking on the Pacers. And that'll be a 7:30 tip-off, Indiana. The Pacers are -4, total 225.5. We saw a 1-point move toward the Pacers and movement downward on the total. The Pacers opened as the 3-point favorite up to -4. Total opened 227 down to 225 and a hook. 53% are leaning Pelicans, 65% shaded toward the over. Right now the Pels are +160 on the money line. Now Oladipo has been ruled as out for the Pacers. TJ Warren, he's questionable, so we might not see Warren in tonight's matchup as well. Now, New Orleans on the other side, a little bit banged up themselves. Williams is questionable. Ingram is doubtful. But the Pelicans have been incredible against the number with and without the reemergence of Zion. They're 15-5 against the spread in their last 20. They rank in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. Meanwhile, the Pacers on the other side, kind of struggling against the number at home. They've covered just 12 out of 26 home games this year. They also rank in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in home scoring. And if you're into historical trends, this is kind of a doozy. Indiana, just 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 versus the Pelicans. Now, 6 out of the Pacers' last 7 did get over the number. New Orleans, 16-10 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean Pelicans +4. And the over 225.5 in that contest there. All right, that's going to do it for our first half, video number 1, part 1. And I'm going to include a link to part 2 in the comment box below. But anyway, that's going to do it for part 1. Go ahead and join me on part 2. All right, guys, welcome to part 2. And let's go ahead and get into it. Our next game